What's up everyone, WizardKen here, and today we're going to be doing another first impression video. That's right guys, we haven't done one of these in a long time because I've been very busy the last couple of months, but now that things have settled down, we're going to be jumping straight back into doing first impression videos once again. And today's line we're going to be starting with is the same line I told you a couple of days ago. We're going to be starting on our brand new line, the British Tank Destroyer, starting from tier 7 all the way up to tier 10. Now that tier 7 tank destroyer is the Challenger, but as you can see, I don't have it yet. We're going to be buying it together. We'll go over the stats real quick and then jump into a couple of games. Now before we get into this, I have a couple of announcements real quick. First off, I am still going to be reviewing the Russian tier 10 tank destroyer that we just got a couple weeks ago. Those videos take me a long time to record and edit, like anywhere between 4 to 8 hours, depending on how in depth and how things go. You know, sometimes my software doesn't work properly and I have to re-record things sometimes, but I'm going to be starting that right after I'm done making this video, so you guys should have that on Wednesday. So anyways, the second thing I want to say is this is a first impression video. This is not a review video of this tank. Let me repeat this. This is not a review. This is not a review. Now you're probably wondering why I'm saying this. Well, when I started doing first impression videos, there were some people that were hitting the dislike button and then other people leaving comments saying that you suck at playing this tank. You don't know what you're talking about when you're talking about this tank. You know, you needed to play this tank this way. You suck so bad at it. Yes, I know that. I know I suck at the tank. That's why we call it a first impression video or first look video. We're basically buying the tank right off the bat and taking it out for a spin, meaning I have no experience with this tank. The only knowledge I have is just the past experiences of playing with tons of different tanks and hopefully trying to, you know, put those together, and by looking at the stats and then knowing what the stats say, try to play this tank to the best of my abilities. And that's it. We're not reviewing this tank at all. I would never sit there and buy a tank right now and say, oh, this is the best tank ever. That would be a piss ass poor review. No, this is just to get you guys to know what you're going to be experiencing the first time you take it out. And we're going to, like I said, talk about the stats, and then we'll talk about the good and bad things about this tank. Try to figure out a way to run this tank. It's pretty much just strategizing. It really is. You're trying to figure out a strategy to how to run these tanks. That's really all it is. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. I'm pretty sure I'm probably still gonna get people in the comments saying you're a shit player, that was a terrible review like I have in the past. Well, go fuck yourself. So there's my 2 cents in for you guys on that one. So anyways, let's start this. All right, so like I said, we need to buy the tank, so let's go ahead and go do that. I've unlocked the tank, but I've not bought it yet. So here we go. Let's do this right now. Alright guys, so we just bought the Challenger, and now we need to manage who's going to be going in there. I don't really have too many good people on the British side because, to be honest with you, I barely play the British. You know, I've only gone down the tank destroyer line on the British. I've really neglected this country a lot. So here we go. I think what the best decision to do is just to take the crew from the FV-215B-183 Death Star and put them into the Challenger. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm not going to spend all that money on the whatchamacallit, on this crew, because it's only a tier 7 and stuff, and that'll be fine. Now some of you guys are like, but wait, they won't, you know, the crew will suck in there. No, they won't. They won't. Of course this thing resets. Great job. Ugh. Of course it doesn't want to fucking work right. There you go. Anyways, technical difficulties that you will see that I go through when I'm trying to record this shit. Anyways, a lot of you guys are probably thinking, oh, that crew's not going to do that great because, you know, it's not completely maxed out. No, it actually will still get 6 cents and all that stuff. Everything the crew's learned right now all goes into the tank and is still used. Now, the crew won't be 100% amazing in this tank. They'll be at 75%. So their, you know, reload time and different things like that aren't going to increase at all or get better all around until it hits 100%. But really, to take from this is that they're not going to learn their next skill until it hits 100%. So pretty much that's what you really need to look at on that. So they're still pretty. They're going to still be a pretty good group on this. So real quick, let's look at the packages. All right, so we're gonna have what, 4 packages? Nope, 3 packages before we get to the tier 8. There's one package we're gonna unlock right now because it's free and we've got the money to put it on, and it would be stupid for us not to do this. So our next package is gonna be at 10,000, which increases our tracks, and then the last one's going to be a new turret and a new set of tracks. So that is pretty neat. So anyways, now I did write down the stats for this tank prior to us recording. As you can see, I didn't actually buy the tank until now, but I did write down the stats. Now, one thing about these stats before we jump into them is you need to understand these stats may change. Like, the speed may change when we review this tank because as we buy other packages, they could increase the speed. That's the same thing with the turret. The turret armor could change and stuff like that. This is basically the stock tank, just with one extra package, which gave us a better gun and stuff. So before we get into the stats, let's put our supplies on before we're idiots and forget about that. Now, this thing comes with armor-piercing rounds and heat rounds, or high explosives, sorry. So we're going to take all those high explosives and put this up to that. We're going to go down here because this is what I do with all my tanks. I run everything the same way, pretty much, majority of the time. And I got to remember to put a crew in that Death Star. Anyways, that being said, let's jump into the stats real quick. We'll go over that really quickly, and then we'll go into a couple battles and see how we do. Alrighty guys, so looking at the stats on this tank, the hit points on this thing is 840. Not a terrible amount of hit points for a tier 7, but there you go. It's a tank destroyer. 840 doesn't seem too bad, even though we can see 8s and 9s. So the speed on this thing is 52 kilometers per hour. Okay, so we're going to be able to get up and go in this thing. Hopefully the traverse is going to be pretty nice on there too. The whole armor is only 89 in the front, 51 on the side, and 38 on the rear. Now, as I said, we have gone down the other line. Of course, I have the FV215B183. And on the other British tank destroyer line, you have a lot of tanks that are very well armored. You know, you have the AT series all the way up until you get to the tier 9 when that turns into a, the tank is a tortoise and not just, not an AT series. But anyways, they pretty much are pretty thick bastards, and they can sometimes be hard to kill if you don't know where to shoot them. Now, these tanks are a lot more maneuverable and have a fully rotating turret that we could see right now. So that tells me right here, with the turret or with the whole armor being the way it is, we're probably going to have to play very supportive with this tank. We're probably going to get killed pretty quickly if we try to go up there and be a pusher like we used to be on the AT series. So that's something we need to keep in mind when we're in the battles. Now, the turret armor on this thing is 102 in the front, 40 on the side, 40 in the rear. I do know this changes on the last turret. I did look that up. These numbers do change a little bit. So, but as of right now, that's what we have. So even if we do a hold down position and hide behind a rock and just show our turret, it looks like we're still going to get penned pretty easily with this turret that we have with the armor that's on it. So anyways, the rate of fire with this gun is 13.33, which is not bad at all. That's actually pretty nice sounding. Being able to shoot that quickly, we should be able to shoot quick and then move out of the way somewhere You know, most tanks are not going to shoot this quickly unless you're like a light tank or something. The pen on this thing is 171, which doesn't make me feel happy because, of course, there are tier 9s that we can go against, and one of the tier 9s that we could possibly see is the VK4502B, which has about 200 armor on the upper and lower glacis on, and that thing could definitely have us bounce its armor a lot. So that's something we might have to consider putting some premium rounds on here, just so we can pen these guys a little bit better. The damage with this gun is only 150, which once again kind of worries me. I mean, we do shoot 13 rounds out in a minute, which isn't a bad amount of damage, but are we really going to be able to get 13 rounds in a minute on one single tank? Highly doubt it. So having a low damage is not the greatest for this thing. Now, the view on this thing is 360, which is not bad at all. I think that with some binoculars and stuff, we'll have to see how this thing goes. We're not going to need a gun rammer because we shoot pretty quickly, but a gun lane drive might be a good thing to do. Possibly. We'll have to check to see how well or how quickly this thing aims in. And then the view range, maybe binoculars, or a periscope, one of the two. Now, the camera rating on this thing, I would have thought would have been a little bit better than this, but it is average, which kind of makes me worried that we're not gonna be able to stay hidden very long. But this doesn't look like a very technically stealthy tank, anyways. So, but anyways, guys, that's enough with the stats. My thoughts on this tank so far before we take this thing out is, like I said, we're going to have to play very supportively. If we do get under fire, we need to leave using that speed, that 52 kilometers per hour, and get into a better position. We definitely need to stay behind our buddies and let them take the hits. If we get into a city map, we're probably going to get fucked. I mean, we do have a fully rotating turret, from what I understand. At least that's what I see. And maybe we'll be able to do pretty good in a city match, but we probably won't survive very long. Distance is our friend on this tank, from what I can see, and that's how I'm going to play it. Very, very supportively, staying back. Alrighty, guys, we're on Highway Standard Battle. Unfortunately, the game started without us. We're going to be seeing Tier 7s, Tier 6, and Tier 5s, and one Tier 4. So what we're going to do is set up over here and see if we can snipe. Now, the Traverse doesn't feel bad. I bet you once we get some better upgrades, we should be good to go. Let's see. It doesn't seem bad. It seems like it does get up to speed pretty quickly, but not terribly fast. But we do have to be careful on what we do up here. There's not a lot of coverage up here. We do have to be very, very, very careful. Hopefully this light tank will go out there, spot for us, and we can shoot at these guys. Now, bear in mind, they do have a light tank on their side. Hopefully he's going towards the town, which would be stupid, but hopefully he will go over there. They do have an IS-2, T-29, Tiger. T-25-2, I worry about a little bit. It can hit pretty nicely. Let's see. AT-8, one of the our brothers, could be very nasty to take care of. It really all depends. So let's move the gun around a little bit, see how quickly this thing aims in. Not terribly bad. The circle does seem a little big, though. The circle does seem a little big. I'm gonna take a wild shot. That didn't feel bad. There we go. There's a hit. I don't know how much damage we're gonna do to this guy, if we're even gonna hit him at all. That's a miss. Gotta get used to the sensitivity of this turret. We bounced that one. Should have aimed it a little bit lower. That was terrible. We're not doing the greatest right now. We are bouncing. I was worried about that penetration with this tank. There we go, another good hit. He's probably moved by now. Looking around to see if any debris gets crushed by him. Anything behind that house or in front. I haven't seen anything go down yet, so might be okay. Now, we're going to wait for our buddies to move up a little bit more to help spot. Maybe if we had binoculars, we might be able to see further down this way, but good possibility that we wouldn't. Now, since we can't see that far, I'm hoping the enemy can't see us that far. There we go. There's a T-25 too. Take a shot at him. There's a good hit. But like, one of the problems I see is that our damage output is just not the greatest. It really is not. We'll try for another random shot. Did not get it. We need to move up a little bit more. Hopefully get a shot on this guy. Try another one on him. There we go. We hit something. Definitely hit something. Ooh. Unfortunately, our buddy died. So we're going to back away. Because it definitely feels like they're going to be... Ooh, that was good. That was good. Oh, we missed. Alright, he's going to be hiding behind there, stopping us from being able to see anything. It looks like we're probably going to lose this game pretty quickly. Our guys are down 10 people. They've only lost 2. Doesn't look like a very good game. Alright. Well, not much I could do here. We've been spotted. Not excited about that. 6th Sense is going off. As I said, the crew does not have to be at 100%. They just had to have learned that skill set. So, that being said, yeah. Alright, so we're going to try to travel over here, help our buddies out, get a couple more hits in before we go and get killed. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do it in time. So like I said, that penetration is really what is worrying me on this tank. We're going to go up here and try to finish this ARL. We're probably going to just do a freaking lock-on. See how that works. How well that works. Oops. Didn't do great on that. That was a terrible shot. The traverse on the turret, not the greatest at the moment. There we go. Good hit. Oh, and they got us. Very nice. Probably could have gotten that kill, but fucked it up. Alrighty, so 8,300 in silver. Not very many experience points. That sucks. 910 in damage. We came way at the bottom. I mean, not way at the bottom, but it wasn't the greatest. But we're not doing a lot of damage. I mean, we're only doing 150 damage per hit. That's not a lot of damage. And it's going to take a lot of shots to be able to do a decent amount of damage. So, alright guys, so we're on Venka. You know I like making up my own words. We're going to be going against tier 7s, tier 6s, and 1 tier 5. So, there we go. Now, this map I don't particularly care for being a tank destroyer on. Especially one that's weak. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, this map's pretty open. There are a lot of hills. In the middle of the map, there's a lot of debris, like houses and stuff, that make it harder to spot people. And if they run in and out of the buildings, it makes it harder for you to shoot at them. Specifically on that right side, too, a lot of trees, a couple of hills, does make it hard for you to get a good distant shot. So these are problems that we need to just keep in mind. I'm going to try to hide behind some of these bushes and see what happens. But I'm waiting to see what my buddies do, to be honest with you. Now, my angle of my gun right now looks a little weird. It's because I'm trying to get a better angle on the camera of like seeing over the trees a little bit to see if I can see a good spot for me to go to and try to do some damage to these guys. Another thing that might change our direction is just the way our guys have gone. Nobody's gone towards the forest, so that means it could be open to the enemy if they wanted to go that way. If they go that way, we could have all went the same way. Good possibility that they did split up, though. At least by the way things are looking, that's how it went. See if we can get up here and help our buddies out. Because apparently somebody's shooting at them. There's an M6. Should be able to pen him. There we go. Thankfully he's not too terrible of a tier 6. Should be able to keep hitting them pretty well. Yeah, he ran pretty quickly. He's like, nope, not gonna happen to me. That's fine. And he does not have to stay there. There we go, Nashorn. Nasty little tank.
That one drilled straight through.
Oh, you're lucky. I missed M6. Take one more shot and get the hell out of here. Because I really do not need that guy to kill me. Just keep moving a little bit as we go. There we go. We're not doing bad in the sense of shooting at people. It's just the amount of damage we're getting in. It's not great at all. Alright, so that medium tank detected us. We need to keep moving so that his buddies don't get a shot on us. And I think we did pretty well getting ourselves out of that. Alright, now we could probably turn around. Maybe be... Oh, I saw somebody poke up on the map. They moved a little close to where we were. Alright. We're gonna have to turn around, help out with the flag area, because it looks like we're probably gonna get some people over here pretty quickly. There we go. We see any of these guys at the moment? No. We have no shots on these guys, which is actually crappy that we can't hit them. I am liking this fully traversed turret, or fully traversable turret. This does really come in handy. I'm really wondering where this other guy is. That T-28 HTC, is he not even playing? Oh, he's playing. I saw his turret move. Not bad at all. Not bad. Now, what do they have left? SU, STEML, STEML, and then the Yak Panther too. So, a couple of nasty things, but I think we're gonna just rush out there. I really do. I think we're gonna rush out there, catch them on surprise, and possibly die, but get a couple more hits in before we die. That's what I'm thinking. Get a couple more hits in. There they are. Ow, that hurt. Whee! Oh, I missed. Terrible, terrible for me to do this. Alright, we got that one. Can you guys keep up with my speed? Probably so. Not when your engine's gone out. Ah, that was a perfect plan. Shouldn't have worked out, but it did. Ah, cool. Worked out nicely. Nicely done, guys. Thought for sure that ISU was going to tear my ass up, but he didn't. 30,000 in silver, 3,626 in experience points. That's probably because we got a couple of experience point boosts. There we go. 2 destroyed, 1,682 in damage, 12 penetrations. Didn't get a mastery badge or anything, but I thought we did pretty fucking well for what we had. We did 1,682 damage, which, what does that round up to be? Let's look at our stats. Shots fired 17, direct hits only 12, and 12 penetration. So all of our shots penetrated and did damage. So it took 12 shots to do 1,682 damage, which is really kind of crazy because what do we hold? Only 50 something? So, the damage is what gets me on this tank. It really does. But that wasn't a bad game. Really, really was not a bad game. I thought we were going to fuck it up there at the end, doing something stupid, but it actually worked out. It actually worked out. Those guys couldn't hit a goddamn side of a barn if they were sitting 2 inches away from it. But yeah, we didn't do bad. Alright guys, so that's going to be the end of our first impression video. Now, my thoughts on this tank so far. The good and the bad things that we need to work on before we can review this tank later on once we get the last package and stuff like that. Good things on it. Fully traversable turret. It can move all the way around 360 degrees, which came in handy, especially on that last match that we did. Not too bad. View range isn't terrible. I didn't mind that. Very fast reloading gun. It was very good. The rounds didn't seem like they were going way off and stuff, but it wasn't the greatest. But not too bad. Speed, great thing, and the traverse of the tracks, not a bad thing on this tank. Now, for the bad things on this tank, traverse on the turret is a little slow. So I'm kind of, as you saw me there, I was kind of moving faster on my tracks than my traverse of my turret, and I was misjudging my shots very badly, even though I had it locked on. I should have changed my directions of my tracks to help my traverse a little bit more. Even though we get 13 rounds a minute, the damage and penetration, not a good thing. 171 penetration, I believe it was. I have to look at my notes again before I screw this up. 171 in penetration, not a lot. So you saw we were bouncing here and there on that first map, and 150 damage. It took us 12 shots to do 1,000 something damage. Ridiculous amount of shells to be able to get that much damage. So especially in the when we go against tier 8s or tier 9s, this is not going to be fun to use. Really is not going to be fun to use when those guys have a lot more hit points. I mean, it would take me 12 shots to kill some of these tier 9s. And that is ridiculous because you know they have more than 1,000 hit points. So that is kind of ridiculous to have to shoot that many times just to kill a tier 9. I feel like a light tank in this, in that sense. You know, they only do a certain amount of damage. They don't do a lot of damage sometimes. This it's kind of crappy. Now, I know some of you guys have told me that this tank is crappy. I don't feel it's crappy. I think I just need to learn more about it. So we're going to be working on, you know, using our tracks and our turret traverse at the same time, trying to equal them up a little bit better so that when I'm shooting on the move, I don't just miss completely like we did the last 2 games. Hopefully, you know, I did correct myself a little bit there at the end and got lucky, but that is something I need to work on. The other thing is, you know, finding positions for this tank that it can run and shoot at things, because one of the problems we're going to have is my normal spots probably aren't going to work as much because we can't pen as many people as we used to do. So we're going to have to try to find side spots to be able to shoot people in the sides or help track some of these enemy tanks while our buddies are fighting and stuff like that. So this is definitely going to be a challenging tank. I mean, it is called the Challenger, but it's a good name for it. Anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Thank you so much for coming out and watching this video. Please hit the like button. Helps me out a lot. Leave a comment. I haven't replied to the last 3 videos because I've been super busy, but I'm going to try to do that later tonight after I'm done doing my next recording. What is the other thing I was going to say? Remember, this is not a fucking review. This is just me looking at the tank. This is not my final opinions on the tank. I have to do another video later on to do that. So, anyways, till next time, see ya.